Hello, angels. So, I'm going to challenge myself and just stream of consciousness, share with all of you whatever wants to come from my heart today. And this also feels like a practice for me to just move beyond my fears of judgment around how I express and allowing myself to be witnessed and perceived in my evolution. I feel like sharing on social media, I've been posting videos on TikTok and sharing on Instagram since like 2020, roughly. TikTok was more like 2022. And I think part of sharing on social media and creating is that you will be witnessed in your growth. Like, I am not the same woman that was sharing online 2 years ago than the woman that I am now living in Peru. I moved here, I live in the Sacred Valley, and I left LA when was that? Last July. So it's been over a year, and I've shared a plethora of things. I started sharing about mushrooms, and then once I started working with ayahuasca, it was about ayahuasca. But what I wanted to share with you all today, that was coming through this morning, is that I'm at a crossroads. And for me, it's really easy to wait to share something until I've arrived to the arrival point of like, here's the clarity, here I am in my confident knowing, here I am in clarity, and it feels better to share from that place because sometimes I take on this role of healer or teacher. And I have found the most powerful thing that I can ever do is just share where I am in this moment in my humanness. And I'm at a crossroads. I was just in the jungle this weekend, and I've been working with ayahuasca the last year. And I'm really questioning my path of wanting to serve this medicine. I'm questioning working with this medicine. I'm questioning all of my dreams that I have been calling in since I guess for the last 7 years. I had this lifestyle in mind, and honestly, a lot of my dreams were centered around this really expansive amount of financial resources so that I can enjoy all of these different luxuries of this life. And something I found, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just reevaluating like, what is actually going to be fulfilling to my soul? And when I was in the jungle, I was with some dear friends that, well, we just met a few weeks ago going to the jungle together, but then we went a second time. Mimi and David, I love you. Mimi and I were talking at the end of our ayahuasca ceremony. It was Sunday, it was right before the full moon, and she was sharing how she feels like gender and like the body kind of disappears in the jungle and you're just left with this essence of your spirit. And in that ayahuasca ceremony, ayahuasca was like peeling out this role of healer that I've taken on and how it showed up subconsciously in so many of my relationships and how it shapes those relationships and how I show up within those relationships. And I was asking myself, who am I without what I have to give? My wisdom, healing, support, advice. Who am I? Who is Ellie without what I have to give, without what I do? And in another ceremony a couple weeks ago, I was in a similar way asking, who am I? And I'm a being of love. And I love so hard. Like that is my sole purpose on this planet, is to love. I think it's everybody's, but that's what I feel most connected to right now. And right now I'm letting go of this, like, oh, my soul has to do this. My soul has to serve ayahuasca. My soul has to stay on the medicine path. All of that's falling away and coming into this choice point of, you don't have to do anything. Your soul is not concerned with one singular blueprint or one purpose or one pathway. There are infinite pathways that you can follow and then switch up and change. So I'm at this crossroads right now of like, what do I want to choose right now? Not necessarily for life, because I tend to pressure myself to have that clarity of like, this is the end all be all of what you're choosing. I like to have that anchor so that I know where I'm directing my energy. But I was in one of the womb portals that I hold, and they're typically like 4 to 6 weeks. And the last womb portal is about devotion. And in my childhood, I grew up with quite a bit of discipline. So after becoming like a free adult, I kind of swung the pendulum into just like full permission and just gave myself permission to do anything, everything, but without bounds. And what I have found is we need our masculine energy to hold pillars, to hold walls, to hold structure, to hold our oceanic feminine energy so that it can flow, right? So in connection to devotion is something that has allowed me to anchor, to keep my energy flowing without limiting myself to one pathway. It allows me to stay centered within my values. And I was reflecting on like, what am I devoted to right now? And the two things that came up to re-devote myself to is presence and gratitude. Because time is dissolving right now. You can feel it. And especially living in the valley, there's so many days where I'm like, I have no idea what day it is, because I'm so enmeshed in this timeless truth that time is fully an illusion. And if time is an illusion, there's no rush, there's no urgency, and there's also no now I have to divert, because this is how my brain works. And this is a great example of like being witnessed in my stream of consciousness. Another thing that came up this weekend in the jungle was how socially anxious I am. And it made me think about how we're expected to show up socially, like what it means to be socially competent. And I've spent a lot of time alone living in Peru, because I've been working with the medicine this past year, and like I've spent a lot of time in deep prayer and devotion and solitude, which traditionally is not how medicine communities, how tribes operated. They were in a tribe. So I've really been thinking about this individual mindset that we have in the Western world, especially. And another thing that there's a million things that came up in the jungle, but also one of them was like, it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay not to have the answer. It's okay to value feedback, a mirror of someone that you love and trust. And I felt this pressure come off of my body of always feeling like I need to have every answer. I need to have it together on my own. And I've really this year leaned into leaning on my sisters for support, leaning on people, and allowing myself to take in other perspectives. So back to the socially competent thing. I went with Mimi and David, Jimmy and Marius, and it was beautiful. But I found myself like wanting to just retreat inward and finding it difficult to like contribute to a conversation, and witnessing myself feel anxiety about my role in this social setting. And their family, like, they could care less how I show up probably. But yeah, it was challenging me to step more confidently and deeply into my authentic expression. And if I just want to sit there and not say a word, and I'm deep in an internal process, or I need to be alone, that I have permission to show up that way. Like, so many themes around judgment have been coming up lately. Judgment. How am I perceived? And another one is, so I'm a Libra rising. I'm Taurus sun, Aquarius moon, Libra rising. And my Libra identity always likes to see both sides. And so I'm not always rooted in like one concept of being. I don't know if this is making sense. It is. It's fine. It's not that I change my mind. It's that I do change my mind a lot. It's that I question a lot and I can see multiple perspectives. And so I don't really attach to like one side. And I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but I'm bringing it up because I feel like it has made me feel like I'm someone with less integrity if I'm not like gung-ho about one perspective. And then it makes me reflect like, okay, what are your anchors? What are your values? And for me, it always comes back to compassion and love. And I'm going to be super honest with you guys. I've lied a lot in my life, like little lies, big lies, especially when I was a teenager and like into my early 20s. And when I think about why I was embellishing or not telling the full truth, it was all fear. Like fear of punishment, fear of abandonment, fear of not being liked. And yesterday I was just I'm writing a book, and it's super personal, similar to these videos. Like this just feels so good. Okay, I have one more thing I'm gonna add in. I'll do it after. See, my mind's like, I was forgiving myself as I was writing yesterday. Like, yeah, there are a lot of moments I wasn't in integrity or said things that were not conscious, where I've talked about others, or lied to appear to be more likable, desirable. And it felt so good to just like look at it and be like, it's okay, Ellie. Like, I forgive you. I forgive you. Because then the shame can dissolve. Shame just thrives in secrecy when it's just like eating at you. So to loop back on something else that was coming through, what was it? Shame, lies. I don't know, but we'll pivot. Yeah, I think making these videos is going to be really freeing, and I want to commit to just doing this regularly because, oh yeah, I can share way too personal things on the internet often, like such as this video. But to me, that's freedom because I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. If there are certain things in my life that I want to keep private, I absolutely will. But there's this part of me that my soul is like, how exposed and naked can you be? How exposed and naked can you be? And how at peace can you be in that exposure of being witnessed in your mistakes, in your shortcomings, in your faults, in your talents, in your gifts, in your beauty, in your love, in your raw, open, vulnerable heart to complete strangers on the internet, to people closest to you in your life? How exposed can I be? And it even feels relieving, like saying that out loud, you know? Yeah, I've worked through a lot of layers of shame to get here and to just be like, I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. So anyways, back to my crossroads. I'm in Peru, in the valley, and I'm really wondering right now if this is the place for me, if I want to move somewhere more tropical. I don't know. I have so many questions right now about what I want. And there was a moment in ayahuasca in the jungle where I was afraid of my gifts, like my full power. And that's been a theme this year, truly fearing my power. Also, I want to say that as someone who creates online with the intention to inspire and lead and guide and teach, it feels really vulnerable to just like show you all the things I'm still working through, but that's just the reality that I'm a human and you're a human, and we're just gonna forever be working through things, forever weaving and navigating this human experience. And I I need to let go of trying to appear perfect, like I have it all figured out and I have it all together, because I don't. I'm just learning and have learned to navigate this human experience with more ease. It's just more easeful now. It just becomes easier because you have tools. And for example, I woke up, I'm navigating some relationship things right now, and I woke up feeling super uncomfortable, craving validation, craving attention, fearing rejection, fearing loss, fearing the end, not knowing where it's going. Like everything was coming up. And the theme has been, can you hold yourself? Can you hold yourself? And I was crying last night as I was going to sleep. And I was just like, you're going to be okay. Like, no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. No matter the outcome of this relationship, you're going to be okay. And I've really been working through some anxious attachments and patterns that showed up for me in my teen and early 20s. And it's been really tender, like really, really, really tender. And it's all coming back to, I just want to be loved. And don't we all? Like, don't we all just want to be loved? But in this pursuit of wanting to be loved is often where I abandon myself to give as much as I possibly can to be loved, to receive that love. And then I end up disappointed that that love can't meet me or match me in the way that I love. And something that I was doing my womb practice this morning, and I'll explain what that is, but I've been working with my womb for the last 18 months and in deep ritual and devotion with her. Every time I'm feeling something, I turn to her to alchemize, to process, to meet myself. And sometimes it's putting on one of my womb meditations. I have so many on my website that you can get. Womb meditation for clarity, for a daily womb meditation, for abundance, for beauty, all the things. Beauty meaning connecting to our intrinsic beauty. And something that came through was, I love the way that you love, Ellie. I love your overwhelming love. I love that you pour. I love that you pour your love into the people that you love. And I just felt this piece of like, it's not going to be for everybody. It never has been. But then I think about my closest friends in this life and how valued and loved and safe. And yeah, I feel so loved in those relationships and so appreciated and so met and reciprocated. So when I enter into a relationship, be it friendship, romance, when that's not in harmony and I'm not feeling like it's being received, I like want to love more, because I'm like, maybe like if I love more, they'll just like, it'll get easier for them to receive it. And I've had to realize that it has nothing to do with me or my love. Love is confronting, because when we're met with the vibration of love, all the parts of ourselves that are not in that vibration, in that frequency, are like, here I am. Here's my shame, my unworthiness, my guilt, my fears, all of it. So yeah, I'm at this crossroads of so many questions, and I know that I will be asking questions this whole human experience. It's the great mystery. That's a part of the beauty of this life. And I'm also really craving this stability of like finding my partner knowing that they're my partners, having a family, being in the place that I know is my home. And I know that Peru is one of my homes. I'm just not sure if this is where I want to raise my family, you know? So today my intention is to keep my heart open. And I've had this kind of subconscious loop that I'm just going to be disappointed every single time. And something that's been coming through as a challenge is like, what if it works out more beautifully than you could have ever expected? And something that ayahuasca always tells me when I go into ceremony with her is she's like, this is going to be the most beautiful ceremony yet. Every single time. This is going to be the most beautiful. This is going to be the most beautiful. And her message to me has been, let the beauty expand. Like, the beauty doesn't have to stop. So yeah. Also on Saturday, I'm hosting a 2-hour womb awakening workshop on Zoom. It's 2 hours. I've been in deep ritual with my womb for the last 18 months every single day. So I'm just going to give you as many codes about the womb as I possibly can. And if you have been feeling disconnected from your feminine, if you've been feeling stuck, stagnant in logic, not in your body, come share the womb codes. They're in you too. The workshop's $55. If you can't make it live, there will be a recording. The link will be in the description. So it's Saturday at noon Eastern, live on Zoom. And I'm going to keep showing up with these stream of consciousness videos because it feels so true. It feels so authentic. Instead of like, let me talk about my womb journey. Like, it just feels freeing to be like, this is me. I'm going to change. You're going to witness me change and evolve and see things differently in different perspectives. And I encourage you guys to leave questions, ask questions. I don't know everything. Surprise. It's no surprise to anyone but myself. But sometimes it feels like, oh, I have all the answers. And then I just reach this place of humble remembrance of like, you know nothing and you know everything. So thanks for being